Welcome to Last Call Kinda. I am your host, Gerard Morgan, joined with us as always by Greg Masturzo, Nick Madara, and Drew Betteridge. Today's show, we're going to be going into a draft recap of the Battle to the Death snake draft that we all drafted last week, if you can follow all that. We'll go through a quick recap of that, tell you guys who won and how much bullshit it was. Then we'll segue.
Oh, Greg.
Then we'll segue into Philly sports. From there, Eagles got a W. We'll go into Squatober, pass it off to the lifters in the group. And from
Squatober.
Fuck Squatober.
Yeah. There we go. See, I was waiting for this. That's good. We'll save him for the end.
I have a counter for that.
So we're going to go from Squatober into a little. We talked about it as a would you rather. It's more of just an argument of who we think the best and worst cereal mascots are, because that's what we like to talk about. Stick around for the end of the episode where we have an interview with Tony, Drew's friend. He is an Air Force veteran and he currently works at a Subaru dealership. And in his spare time, he likes to play lacrosse and decided to create his own lacrosse team that Drew also plays on. I think it was a pity invite personally. We'll find out from him later.
It was a pity invite.
Actually, wait, Gerard, before we get into that, special announcement we got to make. Congratulations to our boy Danny Paredes getting into PT school.
Oh, finally it gets in the.
Go, Danny. Yeah.
You just try and do the thing with your mouth and your finger?
I did it. You heard it.
I don't think I heard. Oh my god.
Danny, that was for you. That was a congratulatory
Finger popping each other's assholes.
Yeah, that was a congratulatory finger pop. Keep all that in.
Good luck. You got a lot to look forward to. And by that I mean a lot of sleepless nights.
All right, so for the draft recap, we had the Battle to the Death, random person in the world and in fake history and in real history, and who would win in a battle to the death. And it was a hard-fought battle. Lots of blood was shed. And unfortunately, my team lost, and I had to concede victory to probably the worst person of this group, Greg.
Yeah, correct. That's
I had
absolutely
John
correct.
Wick. It wasn't a hard-fought battle. It was quick.
The least creative.
Absolutely.
He's definitely.
Honestly,
definitely
I think me and Drew should have been top two, and let me explain why.
No. Drew is not, because Drew didn't know who the Jenner was.
Who is the general?
The Jenner.
The Jenner.
The Jenner.
He thought Bruce was Chris Jenner.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was a bit of a yikes. Maybe Drew should just.
That was, in fact, a yikes. I'm going to eat that. But that had nothing to do with our battle to death.
That I won. Just to remind you guys, Greg.
The person
I
who
won.
has seen the least amount of movies won.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's also very important to realize that anyone who voted has to be the biggest stooge because they have just such a recency bias towards John Wick. Like they never saw any of the Bourne films. They clearly don't know how intellectual and how calculated and trained assassin that Jason Bourne is. Doesn't make sense. Jason Bourne matches up perfectly with John Wick.
Bro,
Drew literally had
Goku.
me on his team. Hello?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I think you actually killed all of Drew's team.
Honestly, yeah, I probably just emotionally abused every single one on the team, and they were just like, you know what, fuck this guy, I'm out.
Nick's superpower, depression.
Forced upon all other members of his team. If this was like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, it'd be like a minus 400. That was a spit take, ladies and gentlemen. That was a spit take from Greg. Oh God. So the beginning rounds of the draft of the fight, I went against Nick, Greg went against Drew, and it was pretty chalk.
Yeah, Drew and I had a good battle going.
This was terrible. It's because I didn't post it to my Instagram. I didn't have enough of my homies supporting me. It was all Gerard and his family and his dog.
And Nick's other account who voted for Gerard.
I did do that by accident.
16 accounts, and he accidentally voted for me on 15 of them.
It's okay. Once Tony comes on, my whole lacrosse team will join up and they'll start getting involved in these too. So Nick will have some creative people to actually vote for us.
Thank God.
Glad that you can't get your lacrosse team to listen to us, but some guy that none of us know can get people to listen to us.
He's the captain of the team. Of course, he'll be able to get people to listen to him.
Actually, to piggyback off that, though, I was looking at our demographics and like our numbers on Spotify, and 99% of our listeners are from the U.S. We have one listener in Indonesia.
Hey,
Whoa!
hey,
Don't know.
that person.
Hey,
just shout out to you.
Shout out
to the person from Indonesia.
Shouts out Indonesia.
These are for you. These episodes. But for like almost 50% of our U.S. Listeners are from Texas. So
Texas
Shouts out.
Texas is the worst. But
our Pennsylvania listeners are only 4%.
the guys.
I can name the people who. I can probably name the people from Texas who are listening.
Yeah, it's Haley and her entire family, or Haley on 19 different computers.
She's definitely half of that 15%.
He didn't deny it.
Also me. I listen to it every time.
Got a little distracted, but Gerard, back to our recaps.
Right. It went from me versus Nick, chalk. Greg versus Drew, pretty much chalk. There was some, again, all of the people that listen to this podcast from Texas is from Drew. So obviously Drew should have got a little bit of a bump, but it wasn't enough to beat Greg. Then it came down to me and Greg, and you guys are just stooges. It just
smoked them.
It just came down to that. It came down to recency bias.
Somehow he smoked them.
It came down to recency bias, and that was really it. And don't act. Everyone who voted for Greg, I have a screenshot of who voted for him. You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
My cousin texted me the next day, and he's like, "Bro, it was a given." And he's a big wrestling fan, so I was like, "Oh, because of Stone Cold." He's like, "Nah, dude, John Wick. He just kills everyone." I was like,
It's a weak excuse.
You guys understand? I literally have a Jenner. They built $1 billion industry out of nothing. She could use sticks and leaves to beat John Wick if she was blind in a coma. You guys have no taste. I'm mad.
I think you had 3 votes. Maybe.
I can check. Hold on.
Yeah, they were probably all from me. Separate accounts.
But yeah, that was our little draft.
So we're not doing a draft this recap, but next time we do a draft,
Some guys are a little upset they lost.
We're gonna set some rules for the next draft.
Yeah, it'll be more fair.
I think it needs to be more creativity because John Wick, and then all you people who listen are just like, "Oh, John Wick, yeah."
Yo, to be fair, I mean that was Nick's fault
fair.
for giving me the first pick when he had the first pick.
Because he had to go get pizza. But Nick's gonna get the first pick of the next draft that we have because he got 3 total votes.
Nick got 3 total votes.
Seriously?
No, it was 3 total votes. It was from Nick was one of them, so Nick was one of his votes.
Hell yeah, it was.
Our
Was
buddy
it Nick?
Jay.
Like Donnie Trump. Vote for yourself, buddy.
So it was
Jay-
Nick.
Jay voted for Nick.
Jay
Jay,
voted
you're
for Nick,
dead to me.
And
Dude, Jay's got taste. What do you?
Patty Alexander.
That's my aunt. Shout out Patty. God bless her.
Shout out.
Shout out, Patty.
Shouts out, Patty.
Shouts out, Patty.
Gerard also, I think Drew didn't. Maybe Drew realized he was on the account, but Gerard Drew voted for Last Call Kinda, or with Last Call Kinda, for himself and for Gerard. So a little bit of a fix.
Oh, I did not know I was on.
No, I'm just saying.
I definitely thought that was on mine. Oh, I must have not voted then, like on my account. Did I?
Let's check. But also, yeah, you apparently have trouble switching from that. Haley called you out on it in the messages.
Dude, she did.
You in fact voted with both the Last Call Kind of and your own account.
Oh wow, okay.
God, rigging
Pumping up
system.
Pumping up those numbers. I'm Donald Trump and Putin at the same time.
Well, you do go to Russia a lot, so you are always flexing off of them.
That's true.
Or flexing back, whatever it is.
I learned well.
Speaking of flexing, the Eagles really flexed all over the Niners this week.
It was a blowout, not even close. They really took it to them.
You did not watch the game.
They also didn't take it to them. It was like 24-20.
Yeah, it was not a blowout.
The last drive was a little sketchy because Schwartz likes to do prevent defense.
Their whole season's been sketchy.
No, our whole season's been terrible.
Aren't we winning in the conference?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
we're
embarrassing
first.
is that?
That tie really helps.
Imagine waking up as anyone else in our conference.
1-2-1.
It's like waking up as Nick every day.
Nick, do you
it's
know how
terrible.
Nick, do you know how sports work?
Literally
Like,
not at all. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't even know how Yeah, I didn't think you did.
So I want this to be noted in the pod. A team in the NFC East is going to make the playoffs with 5 wins or less,
Absolutely.
and I think that's the first time that's ever happened, and it's going to be the Eagles. They're going to have 5
we don't know
wins.
that.
I have a good stat that I learned today
Oh, I love stats.
for the Eagles. They actually lead the league in sacks with 17.
Not surprised by that. For those in the background, that's my dog Dexter.
In getting sacked or sacking?
Sacking.
It's not bad, actually.
Like sacking the sack.
Oh, I know the sack.
Well,
I know the sack.
We have so many defensive ends that like they just rotate and rotate and rotate. So like they're always fresh. We don't have that same issue on our offensive line.
Yeah. We have a guy who was playing professional rugby 2 years ago. Never once played football in his life. He didn't even know how to put the helmet on.
There was a play during the game.
Great story though.
He did great. He did amazing.
There was a play during the game where there was one starting player on the offensive side of the ball. That starting player was Jason Kelsey, the center.
My man.
Good God.
Isn't that that dude who did the speech?
Yeah,
Shouts out Jason Kelsey.
That was a moving speech, by the way.
Jalen Hurts was the QB.
You were not there.
I was both there in spirit and on YouTube watching it later when it was posted. Thank you, Drew.
We tried to get you to come. We were in your living room drinking whiskey out of a Dunkin' Donuts coffee box. And then
it was good times.
got on the subway and went down there, and you did not come.
We slammed a fifth.
Why, Drew? Why did I not come? Tell the audience.
We put a fifth of Jack Daniels in a Dunkin' Donuts box of Joe and drank it before it was 5 a.m.
We were carrying that thing around all day, and then when we finished it, we were pissing in it because we had nowhere else to pee
Because there's a billion
while we were in the
people.
parade. Yeah.
Let me tell you, that sounds like I thought it was terrible dealing with all the terrible Eagles fans at McFadden's that day. That sounds infinitely worse.
So the best part about it was we got there at 3 a.m. probably.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Yeah.
The Broad Street or like the art museum?
Broad Street.
Okay.
So we're like, all right, we're here. Like, let's start drinking. Let's do our thing. We're gonna get ready for the parade. This is obviously my first Super Bowl parade, and I'm assuming all of yours. We wait till what, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Two buses drive by, and that was it.
It didn't start until like 11.
Two buses drove by, and that was it. I was expecting like actual parade and like antics. Two
Dude,
buses.
You should have just came down to like McFadden's when the parade started like 10 or 11, like Drew said, and we were packed I got there at like 6 a.m. and I think we opened at 6:30, but the kitchen guys weren't ready, so we couldn't start serving food till 7. So people come in either getting coffee or just straight up drinking. Like it was one or the other. And then we're packed, it's busy, running around like crazy, and we were short people because they didn't want to work. They wanted to go to the parade. It was like 5 of us working on the one side of the bar, and like the other bar was like whatever, or the one side of the restaurant bar. And 10, 11 o'clock hits, whenever the parade starts, everyone closes out, they get up and they leave. And we're like, oh shit, like that was a crazy 4-hour rush. I guess we're done. Everyone's gonna watch this parade go, and then they're all gonna leave. Parade happens for about a half hour, 45 minutes. No one's in the bar at all. We're all outside standing around watching. They're going through with the trophy. They're parading down the buses. And then not even 5 minutes after the last bus leaves, we went from empty to just full on packed again until 5 p.m. when our bar manager was like, all right, Flyers play at 7. Usually we'll get a little bit of a crowd for that. I'm locking the doors. We locked the doors at 5 o'clock, went from there up to Center City to Tavern on Broad, rest in peace, and we stayed there at 3 or 4 a.m.
I was disgustingly hungover.
Did you work at that bar too?
Shouts out Tavern. Shouts out Tavern.
Is it closed now?
Shout out Tavern, RIP Tavern. You're going to be missed whenever the pandemic ends. We're going back out.
I was so hungover by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was
Yeah.
I think I went directly to bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because I was so hungover. It was terrible.
That day?
Yeah.
You were hungover the same day?
Yeah, there was no sleeping in between. I drank that fifth of fifth of Jack Daniels. Me and Dad's dad had 400 beers.
400.
He packed in a
They
rucksack.
were literally just slamming beers. That was all my Snapchat was all day.
He packed them in a rucksack, and Dad carried around this rucksack full of beer. And
Like a legit army rucksack.
and Dad just carried this thing around all day, and we just crushed a bajillion beers. And then I went home, and by the time I got home, I was hungover. It was ridiculous.
What was Super Bowl winning night, parade night like? What did you guys do?
I was dead. I was dead.
Because I assume you guys after they won, you went to Broad Street, right?
Yeah. There's photos.
Yeah, me and
of
Drew
us.
Frenched.
No,
That's right, yeah.
Nick left. Nick went to bed.
That's true.
Yeah,
I probably
Nick-
did.
Oh, you guys
What?
were the horse.
No, we were at our apartment. We were
Where's-
at me and Nick's apartment.
We wanted to go to the horse, but they were doing that stupid selling tickets thing.
They're selling
Oh, okay, yeah.
like $100 a ticket. So we left my house and
Wait, Gerard, before we get to that.
Yeah.
We went to the horse every single game that season.
Yep.
Every game.
Correct.
And we sat in the same seats every game.
I feel like
As-
we're not talking about me anymore.
and we drank
As-
screwdrivies from
Yes.
11 a.m.
Yes. And it was like as the season went on and we like more and more thought we could actually make the playoffs and then like clinch first place and then go to the Super Bowl. Like every game we got there a little bit earlier to the point where on the conference championship before they were doing the stupid ticket thing, I literally asked off from work early. We got there at 11 a.m. The game didn't start until 7 or
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, that was a Saturday night game.
Mhm.
And we
Just sat there.
just sat there all day. All day. Eating burgers and fries and screwdrivers and just slamming yings.
The best is that bartender
Shouts out
forgot to
Vitamin
tab
Water.
us.
Yeah.
She forgot to tab us for half that day. So literally she comes up, she's like, I wasn't keeping track of your drinks at all. How's like $20 sounds? And me and Drew were like, yeah, that'll do.
And I kissed Nick that night.
It was a wild night.
That like it's kind of like it sucks. That's the way like that all happens, and like that's what a lot of places did for like Super Bowl, where it's like, I mean, McFadden didn't really get regulars going down there for it. It was more so like people going to the game that were going there after, but like College Bar, like the Horse, or like more like neighborhood places that are going to do that. Like, there's only so much they can do, I guess. But like even a place like the Horse could still, if they wanted to hook up the people that were going there the entire time, they probably could have done something like that. I know corporate places can't. Like, you just can't. Like McFadden.
It was a money grab. They would have had the same amount of people as they did the conference championship, which was everybody, and they did fine.
Like what we did for the game, if you had a 4 top, it would cost you for 4 people, you'd pay $600 for a table. So 50 or 200 of that was to get into the door and have a seat guaranteed. The other 400, so out of that 600, the other 400 you had in like what we called quote unquote McFadden's cash, which is really just like you had a tab that you could spend up to $400 on. That was covered in that, and anything you got after that was you'd have to pay for. And the only thing you had to pay for out of pocket, if you whether or not you hit the 400 or not, was the gratuity that was already included on there.
That's how it probably should have been done, but I don't think it was done like that.
It's a half decent idea, but it's still a money grab, and I don't like it.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, like, I knew walking in the night, I was like, all right, cool. I got 5 tables. I don't have to flip any tables. Like, I literally just have to serve people. Like,
Would you be flipping tables regularly?
depends. I'd always push to if I could, because you'd always have people like waiting for tables. People that are going to the game are like just, if you're going to the game, you're trying to flip them so they can get out and do the thing. If not, people come and like sit and watch the game. But it gets to the point that if you're not ordering, you're still like needing that table. I'm gonna tell you, like, yo, man, you haven't ordered in like 20 minutes. You gotta either order something, or I gotta
want to
close you
flip
out.
you.
Well, no. So this happened the Falcons game the week before, and it was a Falcons fan and a Redskins fan. They were just sitting there, and it was a 2-top. And I was like, I wasn't annoyed by it because I had like 7 other tables, and one of them was a group of guys from Temple that knew me from the gym. Couldn't tell you who they were, but they were like hammered. The one guy's finally like, "Yo, IBC," And I'm like,
Shout out
IBC.
Extra Boy.
Shout-
It was
Well,
probably
it's
him
him.
and his goon squad.
I
Shouts
wish it
out.
was. But they were like, oh, IBC. And one guy stops like, yo, he's like, is everyone taking care? They're all good to you right now? Do you have any problems? I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. He's like, because you're a boy. I'm like, all right, I got you. I was like, so now it's one table or
I
something.
definitely thought you were me.
Probably.
Shouts out IBC bartender boy.
Yeah. So this two top is there, and like they haven't ordered for like a half hour. So I'm finally like, yo guys, you either have to keep ordering, or I'm gonna have to close you out. You guys have to go. I was like, it's because we're Falcons fans. And look, I was like, I don't even care about the Eagles. Like, I'm not gonna care if you're a Falcons
Just here to
fan,
drink.
a Redskins fan. I was like, you either have to order, or I have to tell you have to leave because I have people waiting for a table. So like, oh fine, close this out. Their tab was like I remember this. It was $67. They left a $3 tip, and I was
That's
like,
just toxic.
so now they're getting ready to leave, and what did I stopped? Oh, I stopped them because I was like, usually I'm like, I will call people out if they leave like a crap tip, like a really crap tip.
Shit, huh?
Oh yeah, and so the one guy, I go, hey bud, you got a minute? He's like, well, what's wrong? I was like, all right, real quick, two things I gotta tell you. I was like, one, don't ever go out to eat again. You don't know how to tip. Two, don't come back here because you're not welcome here. I was like, now get out of the restaurant.
Hello.
And so the
Right,
one guy
Karen.
looks at me and he goes, you can't say that. I want to talk to your manager. So I pointed to the two security guys at the front of the door. I was like, and these guys are like 6'4", 270.
Yeah, they're basically just like me.
Wasn't
like
Connor
monster.
one of them?
What?
Wasn't Connor one of them?
That was at Tavern. That was at the other one. But so I go, yeah, it's those two big guys over there. Do you have any problems? You take it up with them. Meanwhile, my actual manager was, I think, working outside bar. Like, but he's like, oh no, we'll just leave then. That's fine. I was like, okay, just keep that in mind next time you go out.
Greg's the worst kind of person. Greg's the waitresses at the Chinese buffet that stare at you while you're writing the tip.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta hustle, man. Can't be
Greg's
leaving $3 tips. That's rude.
Greg's the toughest bartender I've ever met.
No,
Dude,
I'm not.
he made me pay for a drink one time. I was like, hey, yo, Greg, look at this cleavage here. I pulled down my shirt a little bit, had a nice tight V on, and he still made me pay for drinks.
I will always make you pay for drinks. And I'm not the toughest bartender. I just know I have security there that can take over for me.
Oh, yes.
Smart.
So
The backup.
you know what would help if you wouldn't need the security? If you squatted more. That's how we transition, baby. And
Speaking of that, right into Squatober.
winning awards for those kind of transitions.
So
Greg,
This-
let's talk about Squatober.
this is what I want to bring up, just because.
Oh, wait. I have something to bring up.
Oh my god.
I want to recognize my faulty anatomy last week.
Oh,
I want to say partially faulty because I did some digging, and I'm not going to completely take blame for myself. But
you do have a guy that's studying PT right now, so it's kind of on me.
well, I did some research, and there are actually 3 UCLs in the body.
Elbow,
One of the thumb,
thumb.
one of the wrist, and one of the elbow. The thumb is the
Cut.
one.
Cut. I'm going to fall asleep. Cut.
The thumb is the one that Jalen Rieger tore. His thumb UCL.
And our fact checker said what?
He was
I-
pretty much right. He
I mean-
just hit him a little bit on the placement of where it was and where
Yeah,
it connected.
Drew
to.
picked the wrong.
I picked the wrong UCL.
Yeah.
The UCL I referred to was the one of the wrist.
He was right, but he was wrong. You know.
He was. What's the saying? Wrong. Something. I don't know.
Thrilling talk.
So I just want to say I'll eat that. I'll eat that. And I'm gonna put that out there that I'm eating that L. But this podcast is for everyone to learn, including us.
I like the fact that our show notes has Drew eating 2 things. One being Drew eats the yikes, and now Drew eats a UCL.
You know what it was? Right alley.
I'm
wrong
full.
lane.
I'm full. I'll tell you what, I'm full for one episode.
He was in the right. He was in the right bowling alley, but he threw it down the wrong way.
If it any more tendons in Drew's mouth, man's full or
I'm
ligaments.
full. I'm very full.
All right, Greg, let's talk about Squatober.
All right, so this is something that I wanted to bring up just to get Drew's opinion on because I'm sure he probably hates the concept of it. And we'll get at it in a second. But no, it's something that one of our buddies, Mike, introduced me to back in 2017. And I just like the squat, so I always do it because I think it's fun. And I have seen like improvements in my overall strength by doing it. But Drew, as like the resident strength coach of the group, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a how do I put this?
Well said.
I
well
think-
said.
I think it was created by influencers to have a reason to post about things. And I think too many people blanket statement Squatober, and not enough people know how to properly program themselves so that they don't regress or cause injury by squatting every day. And by that, I mean, they don't apply basic principles of like changing what type of squat you do. Like it doesn't need to be a barbell squat as heavy as you can every day.
Right.
But some people who are ignorant to that or uneducated, which isn't not saying that they're uneducated, but they're uneducated in that subject, they might not know that. So you put this hashtag out there, hashtag Squatober, and they follow 10 million CrossFitters who put it up there. They're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna max out squat every day.
So have you seen the guy's program that he does, that he writes up?
Whose?
So it's this guy, it's one of the strength and conditioning coaches. I forget where he's from. Let me look real quick. It's Aaron Osmus, I think. Might have
Are you talking about the notepad
yeah, pen and
strength
paper
coach or whatever?
Yeah.
Pen and paper strength. Yeah, that one was good.
Well, so that's what I'm referring to. Because he's like, that's the only program I follow when he does it. Like he's got a whole thing where he puts out the workout 3 p.m. the day before. And it's got progressions to it and everything. It's not just like straight up like squatting max out every day. Like it's kind of got a good balance going to it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, like these are the like this kind of goes into the topic that we had on the podcast with Merv. Like this comes down to if you are uneducated in the subject, this is the kind of page you want to be following to get good information on it. You don't just want to follow some random person who doesn't know what they're talking about, or some random person who's not qualified to tell you what to do. And they post hashtag Squatober and you see them squatting every day and then you try and copy it.
Yeah,
that
carries a whole new meaning.
So should I not squat 400 pounds every day this month?
You should not do that, and you should never do that.
Unless that's like your 50%. Like
It sounds like Squatober is not the same as Conjugate. If I'm on the right page here, it doesn't sound like you guys are doing different types of like maxes every day. Because Conjugate is basically a 1 to 3. It's like a 1-3-5 style approach for. I don't even know how to describe it. Like
Conjugate is the fastest way to having lower back and knee pain.
Yeah.
And,
basically,
and only being a strength athlete for about 1 decade. Maybe.
That sounds like what this is in theory. There's no reason to squat every day. I mean, if it helps you adhere to a program, like that's pretty good actually. Anything that gets you in the gym and training is good to some extent, but anything where you're actively training a muscle group every single day, even if it's with varied programs, varied intensity, varied equipment, is your neural fatigue is going to catch up to you real quick, and you're just not going to be able to. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the program, so if you guys want to give me like a rundown on what like a week looks like, I might be able to critique it more. Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand.
Why don't we let
more day to day?
CS talk about it, Nick?
All right, good one.
Nice, got him.
He got.
But I wanted to bring this up just because I was curious about I mean, obviously, it's coming from a qualified strength and conditioning coach, so it's going to be quality programming, and it's something that he gives out to anyone that wants to use it. But I feel like this is something that's more so for the people that have been well adapted to like training, or I shouldn't say well adapted. That's not the right way to go about it all, but more experience in terms of training. You know, they're experienced enough where they can do this. Their body can handle the loads they're doing, or like this amount of volume for their lower body, things like that. Compared to like just the everyday Joe Schmo that's been training for like 6 months, hopping in like, yeah, I'm going to Squatober. Like,
This sounds more like the everyday Joe Schmo, but has been training for maybe like 2 or 3 years and has like a pretty sound
well, that's what I mean in terms
technical
of
application.
Like when I
Yeah.
say the Joe Schmo, I mean like, you know, maybe less than 6 months experience total.
Yeah. But this is okay for the Joe Schmo that has like 3 years experience, 3 or 4 years, and is just looking for something, you know, switch it up in the gym, and is maybe really in, or even somebody who's got an upper body injury. Because if you break an arm or something, I know my friend Mike, back in like 2016 at Temple, he broke his arm, and he was just doing squats and like leg press and lunges like every single, like 4 times a week, and his squat improved a shitload.
See, I actually broke my wrist for that
No one
reason.
cares.
I couldn't do upper body. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, we know.
broke it, so I couldn't do upper body.
Yeah, we know.
We had a wrestler at Drexel. He got surgery on his shoulder, and he didn't like primarily focus, like we didn't make him primarily focus on lower body. He would still do every workout that the rest of his team did. He would just do unilateral. He would just do the unilateral version of whatever upper body workout that we were giving them. Like even down to like pull-ups. Like he would just go on the assisted pull-up machine and pull up with one arm.
That would drive me nuts. That guy's got an iron will. That would drive me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, but you gotta think. I mean, it would drive me crazy too. But you gotta think like anatomically, after his shoulder's healed and he gets cleared to use the other one, the other one's just gonna grow like just that fast, and get up to speed with the other arm, like very quickly. And that's what happened. Like he was ready to go by the next wrestling season with both arms, pretty much pushing the same weight.
Yeah, that's determined. Love to see that. Yeah, well, I'll check back in at the end of October. We'll see how it goes.
Are you doing the whole thing?
But yeah, I always do.
I think
That's
I want a
God bless.
middle of the month. I guess it is the 8th right now, so I want a 2 weeks in.
Alright.
Let us know how you're doing.
We can check in.
Because I saw this today, and it's definitely not on our notes yet to talk about, but I want to talk about it right now real quick, and really just kind of more of a shout out. There's this bear in Katmai National Park and Preserve that is absolutely massive. This thing looks like it's a bajillion pounds. And
Like thick?
it's dummy thick. Absolutely dummy thick. It is titled The King of Chonk.
Shouts out the King of Chonk.
So all hail the King of Chonk.
Put that on the gram.
I'm gonna send it to you guys to throw it up on the gram. This bear is just rotund.
Shouts out the King of Chonk. Hey,
Yeah.
if there, and on that point, if there is a queen of Chonk, it's my cat. 'Cause she,
Bro, have you seen my dog?
She
My dog's
is-
like 172.
oh yeah, I mean your dog is heavier than you, dude.
Dude, I know.
Your dog
Your-
looked like the dog that needs a goddamn pizza.
Yeah, I need a goddamn pizza.
That's a thick ass dog.
Come on, Albert, it's time for your walk. Jesus Christ, kid, I need a pizza. That's who that one is.
Shouts out to all the thick puppies out there.
Yeah, thick boys in the building tonight. So I'm working on sending that to the group so they could put it on the Instagram so y'all could see King Chonk.
King Chunk.
King of Chonk.
All right. So now that we got Squatober out of the way, we got Philly sports out of the way. Let's go into, and we got King of Chonk out of the way.
Oh, real quick, Philly sports going to be out of date probably by tomorrow because I think the free agency starts tomorrow in the NHL.
Oh, I'm excited.
But
Here comes Patrick Line. Let's go.
and so
Heard it here first.
the latest report was actually I don't know if you saw it, Drew. It was Ghost, Morin, a first, and I think Patrick. Which in a heartbeat, I'd be like, yes, take it.
I'll take that. I take
Take
that.
it. But they were also talking about the first overall or the first round pick the Flyers got. They said it wasn't bad. It was a good choice. Said it was a bigger guy. There was disagreements. Like he said, he had a good shot. Bigger guy can move, but they said there were issues with. One said his skating, and another guy was like, "No, his skating's great. That's a lie." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh well, no, okay. So two things on that because I listen to Flyers Daily every day. His skating is like the main concern, but what the scouts did notice is that once his season was done, he started working with his skating coach every day, and apparently he has massively improved. Also, you can quote me on this. I'm pretty sure he's 17. This kid is 6'1", 194, and he's only 17.
He's trying to become a thick boy.
He is going to be huge in 3 years. If he can make the team, he's going to be a big boy.
Is he going to be bigger than King Chonk?
I don't know. I
just got that picture, and that is a fat ass bear.
I hope he's not as big as King Chunk. I feel like
that's
detrimental.
That's a chungle right there.
Dude, he's got a beer belly like a 50-year-old dad.
Oh my!
I've never seen one like it.
Just chunking it up is all he's doing. All right, we got anything else for Philly sports?
Look out for maybe Torrey Krug, possibly. Would love to see that.
I would love to see that too, or Pietrangelo.
But I think Pietrangelo is going to be more money, and I feel like you get more versatility out of Krug. And Krug likes to play a little bit of a chippy style, so I think he'd fit in nice here. Little low-key dirty.
And Bobby Ryan.
We need some grit on this.
Let's try to get Bobby Ryan.
Only if it's like 900,000 a year.
Dude, I'm saying at most $1 million. That's what I'm saying.
I could go for that.
All right, everyone. Proud to introduce my boy, Tony Ochoa. Tony is from Texas. I met him down here. He is a former airman, currently in the inactive reserves, almost done. He sold me my car, or got someone to sell the car to me. And he started a lacrosse team, and I'm pretty sure it was a pity invite, but he brought me on, and he has helped me fall in love with the game. And I try to show up to practice on time and regularly. But I will say I do show up more than most people. And I'm happy to have met Tony. So introducing Tony Ochoa.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, Tony.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tony.
So the airman comment, definitely true. I did 6 years in the Air Force, was a security forces initially, and then went into CADM, so Combat Arms Training and Maintenance. Basically, I just trained people on the line and everything and how to use a weapon. It was really stressful because it was mainly people who have never held a firearm, because that's the Air Force.
Classic.
And
Yikes.
went from there. He is right. I did help him get his car at Subaru, so shout out Subaru, Austin Subaru.
Shout out Austin Subaru and not Georgetown Subaru. They suck.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. I mean, you're over there.
Wait, Drew, are we talking about that same little orange car from Temple?
Yes, same little orange car.
Oh my god, that is a beautiful
different one though.
car.
He got a new one.
I got the newer version.
Yeah, with all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So
It's a
Tony,
sick car.
you work at Subaru. How often do you vape?
Never. I never vape. I use zero tobacco products.
Isn't
But a lot of my clients
Isn't that a requirement?
constantly.
I thought that was a requirement of Subaru.
I had a client yesterday that used his vape through his mask, and like it left a little residue of the vape. It was really gross.
Hell yeah.
And like it was funny because he's using an N95 mask, so it just came out the sides and just like went up his face.
Arguably, that would probably be healthier. You know,
It might. Maybe it filters
limits.
it.
Yeah, you know, filters it from all those cancer-causing chemicals that they keep saying that they like multiply somehow.
But man,
Some
did he look
dank
super
tricks.
cool with that smoke coming
That's
out
what I'm
his face.
saying. That'd be so hype. Yeah, I'm about to try it.
It's like Bane. It's like Bane, but with a vape.
Exactly like Bane. But yeah, started the lacrosse team. Drew was not a pity invite initially. Maybe is now. Now that we've kind of grown through it, we have one player that has gone pro now. Shout out Moose.
Shout out Moose.
You guys have a guy named Moose
Yep.
that went pro.
Yeah, he plays for the San Diego Seals now in NLL, so he is a professional indoor goalie.
Wow.
Are those dudes actually that big, or is that all padding?
Moose is a big boy, but the padding is also huge, so he looks like a golem in it, just over there, just blocking
Yeah,
everything.
I watch I watch indoor lacrosse league. Let's be real, I don't watch indoor lacrosse league, but like it's every once in a while on ESPN, and like those goalies are like big chungus.
Oh yeah, they are full Chungus mode.
They look like King Chungus. Tony does.
Tony doesn't.
The moment you touch one of those goalies, though, you have probably like 4 guys that are just going to beat your face in.
So it's just hockey, but
Yeah, essentially it is. It is like hockey.
Yeah, I hear they say that if you can't play hockey, you play lacrosse.
I guess that's true. I mean, stick skills translate to both, but
We've all seen Drew's stick skills.
You've seen my stick skills.
Oh boy.
That was a sex joke.
Speaking of sex jokes, I feel as if Tony was in the middle of telling a phenomenal story before we cut him off, so we can get a decent intro to him. Tony, why don't you kick that story off so we could find out how you and Drew first met?
yeah. So Drew and his now fiance were planning a double date with myself and my girlfriend Hannah, and we were planning it out at a lacrosse game. And I told him, hey, here's the literally gave him the pin for the address and everything. We're going to Mandola's. So there's multiple Mandolas in Austin, and I told him we are going to the one in the Triangle. Gave him the address. Said, hey, we planned we were going to go to Dave and Buster's, get drinks after, and play his fun drinking game that we had later that I'll talk about. But this guy texts me that like maybe 30 minutes after he's supposed to be there with us, and we're already at the table, and he's like, hey, I'm here. Like, okay, come on in. And he's like, wait, this location, right? And I was like, no, that's 30 minutes away from where we are.
Yeah.
So Drew's like, okay, well, we'll get over there. So Hannah and I order food because we're like, you know what, screw it. I mean, it's going to take him an hour to get here. So it does, in fact, take him an hour to get over to us. And then
40 minutes. 40 minutes.
I don't know, man. It was like an hour. But
Texas traffic.
yeah, Texas traffic, which is non-existent at the time that he went. But anyways, he gets there and we have a good time. We eat, and then we go to Dave and Buster's and play this drinking game where it was the most drinking gets you points, and then every game you win gets you more points. So I mean, by the end of it, we're not even coherently writing down the points correctly. So I don't even remember who won that game. I think it was you or I. But all in all,
I'm actually pretty sure Haley won.
actually, I think you're right. But
Yeah.
Drew's a big goober for not being able to do land nav like an officer. Classic.
Drew doesn't
Classic,
operate.
classic officer joke.
Drew, do you even operate?
I don't. In fact, I do not. My brother does. Shout out Tyler Betteridge, JTAC. But I do not.
The better of the better.
Betteridge.
The better Betteridge. Hey, tell him to come play lacrosse. Let's get him out there, and then we can have a easy Betteridge replacement.
Tony, can you get yourself and the rest of your lacrosse team to start calling Drew Worceridge?
Sure, I can start that. That's easy.
Back to
Put it
high
on his
school.
jersey.
Right back to high school.
We're 16 again, Drew.
We can just put it right on your jersey, Drew.
Nice. We love this.
Right next to that 82.
Right next to that 82.
All through high school, Drew was always the second fiddle to his brother. His much cooler, much more impressive, and much more recognizable, Betteridge.
Is that a common thing to have your younger brother outshine you?
No, it's the other way around. Older brother.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. So his brother is the Betteridge, and he's the Worceridge.
Heard that before.
I don't think you have. I think it's brand new.
Nick gets a break this episode. That's nice.
Drew's muting in between this and crying a little bit.
Nick's
lucky I'm-
in between, like, yes, it's not me.
Drew might have died.
He should be doing that before games. Maybe he'd have more energy than he currently does.
I think Drew might have actually died.
Yeah, I mean, the iPhone 4 is still there, but
It's muted.
got a big old mute next to it.
Shout
You
out
know-
to the
you know
iPhone 4.
You know Haley is 100% the dom in that relationship. She
Oh,
wears
100%.
all the pants.
100%.
Yeah, For sure, for sure.
As someone who has hung out with them, yes. She's tougher than him too, and outdrinks him.
Yeah, we knew that. That wasn't hard.
Yeah. I mean, she is in law enforcement, so
It's true.
you gotta be a little tougher.
So I'm not sure where Drew went.
But we'll continue without him.
Yeah, let's keep it going because I'm not trying to sit here and edit.
He's also not that important to the podcast.
No,
So-
we can get back to him. Tony.
Yeah.
So lacrosse. When did you start playing lacrosse?
We're back.
I started playing junior year of high school. I was kind of late to the game because I played tennis almost all of my life because my dad's a tennis professional. So I wanted to be like, hey,
Just
screw
slip
you,
that in.
Dad, I'm different. And
Over that.
yeah. That was a little weird back in my younger years. I mean, I was pretty high ranked in Texas for a little while in tennis, and then I decided, hey, I want to play a sport that I get to hit people. A buddy of mine was like, hey, you're tall now, because I was in high school, like I was like 5'2" until my junior year, and then it was like boom, 6'3". Hey, what's up, guys? I'm a new person. So buddy comes up to me and he's like, hey, you should come try this sport. I was like, well, I don't know what the hell that is. I'm from Texas. All I know is football and all the regular sports. So he's like, look at this. Shows me a video, and it's a dude getting his clock cleaned by just another guy that just has a giant 6-foot pole. And I was like, that's cool. So fast forward a little bit. I had a job at Academy Sports and Outdoors, and I went and used my discount there and bought lacrosse gear, and then maybe quit the next week because I was such a hard worker at 16 years old. So got the lacrosse gear, went out to the field, hit the first freshman I saw, and I was like, this is my sport. This is cool. Now
Just
I've
decked 'em.
been playing, I think 10 years now, 11 years. But got to play for Texas State for a bit, and that was pretty fun. Everybody there was pretty cool and introduced me to the life of partying and sports and being hungover. So definitely can play hungover. Drew didn't get to go to some of our team tournaments because of Army commitments, so he didn't get to get the full team experience, but he is a part of the team and thankful to have him on there. Met him
Happy to be here.
Met him playing beer leagues of men's lacrosse, which is called ULAX, which is really short games and running all the time. So everybody's just dog tired every 2 minutes because we're all old now. Drew was our face-off guy, so he's the guy that just tries to get the ball, and he uses that wrestler strength in the big body just to clamp down on it and try and get that ball over to me on the sideline area. Usually did a pretty good job at that, but then once the ball goes up in the air, that's where Drew starts falling down.
On the ground, he's good. In the air, over.
Yeah, he was super fast hands, but super slow stick skills. That's Drew.
Haley can vouch for that.
I'm guessing by the stick that's on your left. You play defense?
I do play defense. I'm a long pole. I have been learning how to play offense a little bit just to understand it more. But yeah, pole is my main thing. I mean, behind me I have like an assortment of helmets and sticks and things, and some memorabilia that I've gotten through the years of going to pro games and things.
Nice. So how did you come about starting this team?
There is 4 guys that started the team, and it's myself, Daniel, Caden, and Riley. Caden and Riley are the 2 presidents. Well, Riley's vice president, Caden is president. Caden and I worked together at Subaru. He was my assistant there for a year, and I was talking to him one day, and I was like, I play lacrosse. We got into that, and he was like, oh, I used to play in high school. And we're like, well, let's try and get more into it again. So we joined ULAX. We didn't like how unorganized it was, so us 4 came together because I played high school with Riley, the vice president, and we decided that we wanted to make our own team and organize and get more serious because this was beer leagues, but we want to win beer leagues if we can. So that's where we came together, made the team, did our nonprofit license. We have all of that, so we do have a 501c3. Our website is ajlc.org, so we have an actual organization now. Do we win games in field? No, but we win a lot of box games, so that's cool.
And we win the hearts of our podcast listeners.
Yeah, Field, I mean, we have a lot of guys that are newer to the game, so definitely trying to teach people the game and try and get them more into it. And, I mean, the team is new comparatively to some of these awesome teams that have been playing together, 5-6 years and actually have some team chemistry, but it is all coming together.
Yes, it's awesome.
Then you guys added Drew, and the team chemistry just plummets.
Yeah, especially when he shows up an hour and a half late to practice and then does his little warm-ups. So, I mean, I can kind of demonstrate his warm-ups. It's Drew on the sideline going like this with his legs, just with the little rubber, which, like, I get it. It's great. It's smart.
Doing some bird dog.
But when you show up an hour and a half late and do it, it's a bad look.
Oh, I know. Show up an hour and a half.
I mean, attendance says otherwise, my guy.
Tragic.
Done. This is.
I do stay late though. I always stay.
You did stay late. You and Tom and Rashid, me, Sean. That was pretty nice.
Tom did not stay late. He actually showed up an hour and a half late.
I thought you and him showed up at the same time, so I guess I'm grouping you with him. You Colleen guys. Oh, you're Georgetown. I always forget. Never mind.
You guys have a roster
Sean
of
lives.
40 guys. Is that right?
We do have a roster of about 40. The ones that are the common group is about 16, 18.
Gotcha.
So it keeps growing, but the regular practice numbers are staying about the same,
And that's
which
true
is
fault. We
which
have-
is classic with like adult league sports,
How many people are on a lacrosse field at once?
At once, you have 3 attackmen, you've got 3 midfielders, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie, so 10 per team. Most field teams are about 30 strong. Box teams are about 20 because box is a lot less people. So in box, you only have about like 7 people on the field with the goalie included in there.
As you can tell, big lacrosse show. I know so much about lacrosse.
Big brain
Bo-
right now.
Box lacrosse is pretty similar to hockey.
It is very similar, especially the culture-wise too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single box lacrosse player who would knock hockey ever.
Now, how? So I'm a little like I kind of understand what you mean. What do you mean by that though? Like in terms of similar to hockey?
So
Same position, similar rules.
yeah,
Okay.
similar rules, and there's boarding and everything, so there's all of that as well. And the
Okay.
goalies all look like chunguses in hockey and box lacrosse. So
Similar, beating the shit out of each other.
As far as professional goes, I don't know if it's like a regulation size, but professional is played on NHL rinks usually.
mhm.
They just roll the turf out on top of the ice.
Yep, that is
Okay.
completely true. So it is. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the Wings play where
I was gonna say the Wings. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah, the Wings
I mean,
play where the Flyers do.
yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most lacrosse players really respect the shit out of hockey players.
So box is what the professional league is in the U.S.
Yes, so that's the NLL, so the National Lacrosse League.
Okay.
There's a few different lacrosse leagues out there. There's the NLL, which is the indoor league,
Mhm.
the MLL, which is the
Major League.
major league, but it's kind of like the minor league at this point because the PLL, which just came out 2 years ago, is kind of where all the professional, some indoor, a lot of outdoor, like the really good players are shifting to the PLL now and away from the MLL.
It's a lot of the marketing heavy guys went over to the PLL, so they kind of formed a super marketing team. I mean, I haven't seen any sports marketing that's quite like the PLL. I mean,
Yeah,
they
definitely not.
They just won the 2020 Breakthrough of the Year for sports, like I think a couple weeks ago. So I mean, it's a pretty big deal. They're getting a lot of people, especially with their engagement with children and the youth leagues. Like they have a lot of each team in the PLL has picked a nonprofit youth league to partner with so that they can send pros out there, teach them about the sport. So there's like Bronx lacrosse and a lot of the kids in need. So they'll send people out there and be like, hey, let's coach them, teach them about the sport, give them an outlet instead of getting into a bad lifestyle.
That's awesome.
And each team it's not like owned by a city or it's not affiliated with any cities. they all travel together each week, and they all play in the same stadium each week. It's usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that they play. But on the rest of the days, they're practicing with the team, but they're also holding camps for like the local, I guess, youth and high school in that area before the games that weekend.
Very cool. That's legit. That's awesome.
So
before we get
Don't cut it.
before we get to the Cereal Mascot face-off, I want to thank Tony for welcoming me into the lacrosse culture. I was brand new to the game when he met me. I was just trying to figure it out, and
he still is a year later.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's very true. He's
Absolutely.
learning defense now.
Oh, good for him.
Well,
Always pictured him as a catcher anyway.
I'm just trying to learn every position just to give me a reason to stay on the field. Because
Fair.
everybody else is better than me, so I need to have a reason to just switch sticks so I can stay on the field. But to continue, I want to thank Tony for bringing me into the culture. Being on an actual team made it more comfortable for me to want to show up and not only practice with the team, but also practice on my own. And it helped me through a time in my life. I'm not going to say a dark time because it wasn't a dark time, but, moving to a new state in the Army, which there are many bleak days in the military.
For sure.
The lacrosse became an outlet for me. It became a goal where I wasn't just showing up to the gym for just the purpose of staying in shape. I was showing up to try and get better on the field. And it really did become the medicine game that it is, as the origins, the creators say. Lacrosse is a medicine game, and it was, in fact, medicine to me, which is all thanks to Tony and the rest of the Jazz who accepted me into the culture, a newbie who's still trying to, but love the game now.
It's been pretty nice having a little community for the team, especially. It's a little hard sometimes managing that group chat though, because as adult men will be after a few drinks, they just want to write whatever they want in there. So
you never know what's
sometimes
going
it
to be
gets a little
said.
wild.
You never know what's going to be said.
We know all about that in our group chat.
I'm sure
feel
this
like
one
that
gets
was
a little
right for
wild.
me.
I feel like Nick's the Jerry of your group, and I know that's a strong role. So good on you, Nick. You've
Everyone
got
needs a
lot
good
on your
Jerry.
shoulders.
Shouts out, Jerry.
Shout out, Jerry. I'll tell you what.
Drew is our Jerry for our team sometimes, but not always.
Jerry Werseridge.
Good old Jerry.
I just try to fit in.
Before we do start that draft, real quick, Tony, tell us where, or tell our listeners where we can find you, your team, and one more time what that website was.
Gotcha. You can find me at OCOKACHO. That's Oko Kacho. Kind of like a Beatles song, Cuckoo Kachu, That's where it came from. You can find our team at ajlc.org, and that's the Austin Jazz Lacrosse. God, I forget the name, organization.
Good.
But yeah, acronyms. But we are a nonprofit team, so it's all the stuff that goes towards the team funds. So if anyone ever wants to donate, that's always helpful to us. We did have a pretty good year this year. Besides COVID kind of knocked down all the tournaments that we were planning. So we do have tournament fund and tournament plans once COVID has subsided. But for now, we're just kind of trying to keep the team safe.
We do have a store too with some pretty legit gear on there.
Yeah.
Fleece hoodie is nice.
Those quarter zips look pretty fire.
They are pretty nice.
All of our moderators are just looking at the site now, like, oh, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get.
Can confirm the quarter zip is fire.
Yep.
The polo will look good for me when I go on clinicals. Just saying.
Even if we
Ref-
lose, I think we have the coolest uniforms in all of Texas,
Absolutely.
and I would put that to the test.
Compression calf length tights.
Those are specifically for Drew.
I love those, dude.
We know.
Bucket hats. This is legit. I love this.
Yeah, we definitely tried to take the store and make it a little more fun.
40 items. That's awesome. Or 40 plus items. That's awesome.
That's all Caden, and Caden and Riley have been running the store real well. They make the website great. I mean, I couldn't be more thankful to have those guys with us.
Shout out Caden and Riley. I don't know you
Shouts
guys.
out Caden
Yeah,
and Riley.
Shouts out Caden Riley.
I'm like the logistics side of things. They're like all of the operations, so they keep everything moving.
I know that feeling.
That's great.
Yeah, you are the editor, and you've definitely gotten
editor-
better with your editing too.
The
Greg
editor
does
in
literally
chief.
everything.
Appreciate that.
Greg even reminds me that I have to read the group chat after I haven't read the group chat for an entire week. He's like, guys, we literally have a meeting tonight at 8. I'm like, it's like 7:45. I'm 2 glasses of wine in. I'm like, all right, I'll be there.
Now I see why you are the Jerry.
The Jerry.
They got to hold your hand a little too much, huh, Nick?
Yeah, well, I like it, you know.
It's kind of like Drew for our team. If I don't text him that practice is at a certain day, I mean, he won't be there.
Sounds all right. All right. On that note,
I'm
thought.
picking the cinnamon toast crunch, dude.
We're gonna
I feel like he's finna whip some butt, dude. Really.
transfer from Drew playing really hard to kids sugary cereal.
I play so hard.
So I got a list of mascots who are famous for being on cereal, and we're going to talk about who would win in a fight, to be honest. All right, so we got Snap Crackle Pop from obviously Snap Crackle Pop.
Cowards.
All said.
Lucky Charms, Lucky the Leprechaun, Lucky Charms.
He's a beta.
Trix the Rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, we know. He's a pedophile.
Little bit of a
He's-
psycho.
Tony the Tiger.
He's
Shout out.
absolute
he's
Chad.
great.
Absolute Chad.
Absolute jacked.
Toucan Sam.
Wild
Undercover
card.
killer. Yeah.
Count Chocula.
Oof.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And Captain
Oof.
Crunch.
Can I add one in there? Because there's
yeah.
one that's super jacked that we're missing, and it's Frankenberry.
I like it.
You ever seen that dude's biceps?
We'll throw Frankenberry in there for sure.
I think the dude that was drawing him was
Uh,
just like, this dude is going to be absolutely jacked.
This sugar cereal is gonna get kids absolutely jacked.
Can I throw one in there? Probably the only cereal mascot that's actually on crack, the honeycomb cereal mascot.
Ooh, he is on crack.
I mean, I think Trix Rabbit might actually be on crack.
He's probably on speed.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
he
did-
chases kids around for a cereal.
That doesn't exist.
Did we mention the other one? Cookie Crisp,
Coop.
Oh, the wolf?
The wolf.
He was on
And-
Coke.
who's just straight up eating cookies for breakfast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that guy.
he's on Coke.
Yeah, that guy was actually kind of wild.
So
Imagine those like business executives like making a cereal. They're like, all right, hear me out.
Diabetes.
Cookies in a bowl.
Let's
They're
give
like-
all the children diabetes early onset.
Early onset
it
diabetes.
was definitely the CEO of General Mills woke up one morning at like 3 a.m, went out and got a nice cookie and dunked it in milk, and then went, "Whoa! If this was in a bowl."
This was
Fuck me
more
up.
mini cookies. It's
So my personal pick for who would kick everyone.
no. I said we let Tony go. We let the guest go first.
Fine, we'll be polite.
Am I drafting mine?
Who's your cereal
Overall.
mascot?
Tony the Tiger. I mean, I got to go with my namesake
Damn
here.
it.
You know how
That's true.
often I got called Tony the Tiger as a kid? And like
That's true.
at the time I was like, stop it, I'm not Tony the Tiger. But now I look back and I'm like, God, I wish I looked like that.
That's a girl.
You know what? I am Tony the Tiger.
Dude's jacked. I mean, I don't think there's a single person on this list who wouldn't get torn up by him. One, he's a tiger. Two, he's like got to be 270, just straight up pure jacked muscle. He's like 6% body fat over there.
I think you're forgetting about my pick, the Captain Crunch, wielding some blunderbusses, and some sabers.
I don't know. That guy's commissioned, so I mean, he's already weak. We know that from Drew.
Yeah, he's in his 70s, dude. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna go with Trickster the Rabbit because I feel like he's a wild card and does way too much cocaine in his spare time for fun. Really.
So that's the problem. So the cocaine is going to help him a lot because I feel as if one shot from my blunderbuss, he's going to walk through it. It's going to be like,
That's what I'm saying.
5 hours to reload over there, man. Good luck.
Yeah.
But
But in the 1940s over there.
1940. You think the blunderbuss was around in 1940s, Nick?
I'm not sure, actually.
Do we want to
I
talk
mean,
about that?
they're around
I
today.
think my grandpa was in the 1940s. Let me do this.
All right, Drew, who you got, Drew?
I think I got to go with who I mentioned. I'm going to go with the honeycomb mascot. Not only does he do cocaine, but I'm pretty sure he's homeless. And in all the commercials, he just like snuck into people's houses right after railing a line of white lightning and was just there to scare kids and eat cereal.
He
Just show up in your pantry like, what's up?
Give me it.
broke into all those people's houses, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure he did. And
Does that
I
translate?
think he was in I think in one of the commercials he was in a school too, which is definitely illegal.
Does that translate?
Him and the Tricks Rabbit are definitely predators.
Absolutely. I think that's what gives us the edge in a weird way.
Yeah.
Maybe only over the Snap Crackle Pop kids, but I mean, Tony the Tiger.
I mean, he can't come within 30 feet of a school. So if I'm just sitting there to fight in a school and you step over that line, it's like, what's up?
But in all reality, did you ever see Tiger King? Like those tigers can be trained, like they're pets.
It's true.
I don't know
That's
about
true.
that. I watched one of them almost rip that dude's leg off, and then there was the whole arm that went off.
I mean, yeah, if you throw your arm in a tiger cage, you're gonna get your arm ripped off. Guess who's not doing that? Captain Crunch.
Trickster.
I mean, tigers definitely eat rabbits, like on a daily.
Okay. Yeah.
If we're going off a scale here, though, Captain Crunch has got to be like 4'6" beta male over there. Well,
Yeah.
Tony's pushing 7 feet tall. Have you seen those
350
commercials and how
pounds.
tall he stands over those
For sure,
kids?
for sure. I mean,
He's
Greg.
like 7'1".
Captain
Greg,
Crunch
how-
is definitely the dude in the wheelchair, like pulling up to Walmart that needs, the fucking ramp for himself.
That geriatric might just die in his chair.
Greg,
How much does
did
a
you pick yet?
full-grown tiger weigh?
Well, so Tony
Like
the
600
Tiger,
pounds?
I think Tony the Tiger though is weighing in at 300 pounds. I think he's 350.
I think he's more than that, man. I mean, if he's a tiger, he's got to be at least 600.
God damn.
Let's see. I'm Googling it right now.
Average tiger weight?
Tony the Tiger. Age is unknown. Height is 7 feet tall. Weight is 303 pounds.
Holy shit.
That's
There-
a big boy.
It's called deathbattlefandom.fandom.com. Wiki, Tony the Tiger.
Ooh,
So
look
that's
up
as-
Captain
that's
Crunch
as
on
big as
there.
it Gets.
Let's see that little geriatric dude. Let's see how he's standing. 4'6", 120,
I don't think he's
on the
even
verge of
standing.
death.
He's definitely sitting wherever he's at. I mean, it suits Gerard's personality, you know?
He might even forget where the battle is.
That could be to his advantage though. He forgets in the battlefield, just like dodging fucking Matrix style.
And then
Everyone's
walking into
missed.
traffic like a dementia patient. He might do it. He might just off himself by accident.
Greg, do we have info on my guy?
I'm looking it up right now.
Unbelievable.
I mean, Drew's pick is just like his picks last time with this fantasy battle. Bad.
Worst picks imaginable.
While we're looking this up real quick, I'm going to just say my pick. And it's going to
Nick
be...
was my best pick.
That's true.
That's actually true. It's going to be Count Chocula.
Ooh.
And
Not a bad pick.
it's solely because the man doesn't like, or what he's like, he can't go out in the light or something like that. And it sounds like he doesn't like being around people. I don't like being around people. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, he's pretty much you. He's not even a fighter at this point. He's just like your alter ego.
Does
He
he
probably
suck
also
blood,
has a posse
or-
with him, like the dude from Sesame Street, the Count from there. They probably would jump
Sure.
you together.
You also do look like a vampire.
That's the pale pigment of my skin.
I think it's also the beard goatee thing or mustache goatee thing you got going on.
I don't know. That,
I've been told to look like Eric Carlos with my hair down. So
he kind of looks like he'd belong with the Spanish Inquisition right now, you know,
Yeah.
just out of nowhere.
Tony, let me know if that changes anything.
When he, I mean,
He
it
just looks like if Post Malone was uglier.
Did
Cal-
more meth?
kind of looked like Mick Foley.
Holy,
Nappy ass hair.
that's classic. Well, I got nothing on Captain Crunch.
God, you guys are the worst.
Yeah, so Tony the Tiger, 7 feet tall, 303 pounds. I think he wins it regardless. I don't think it's really
Absolute
a
unit.
competition.
Greg, do we have the list written down?
We have Tony with Tony the Tiger, Gerard Morgan, who also goes by Captain Morgan, picked up Captain Crunch. So that's a little fitting. Nick's pick was forgettable, so I'm not really too sure what to put on there.
Seriously?
Nick had the tricks rabbit. We know. Nick had the tricks rabbit. Drew, who did you have?
Honeycomb guy.
He had the honeycomb guy, the guy that's on crack or whatever. And then
On crack.
I got Count Dracula, excuse me. But yeah, I don't really think it's much of a debate here. I think it's just no matter who you pick, it's got to be Tony the Tiger.
I think my guy's the only guy with a weapon. So
I think we have to take this to Instagram, honestly. I'm not sure we can decide because we've all got creator bias.
I will take the poll to Instagram.
my guy's the only guy with a weapon.
You know what Drew's going to do again? He's going to send it in our group chat and say, "Hey, vote for me," and nobody's going to vote for him again.
That's not true. There was little with Tony. You can hear this when the podcast goes out, but I'll tell you now. A little bit of a shenanigans happened in the last vote. Where Drew voted for himself on his own thing, which is fine because I voted for myself. But then he, on our official Instagram page, voted for himself as well and still lost.
Cheater. Cheaters never win, Drew.
That's it.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, and that's how I go about every day in the military.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for listening in. This has been Last Call Kinda. I want to thank Tony for joining us today. Make sure you guys are following our podcast, downloading it, subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. You can find us anywhere podcasts are found. That said, if you're listening to this part right now, you already found it. So do that with what you want. Greg, anything to end on?
Nope.
Nick, great. Drew?
Shouts out to Tony for coming on, and shouts out to the @Austin Jazz.
Shout out at Austin.
The homies.
Our Instagram
homies.
is @AustinJazzLC.
So make sure you guys give @AustinJazz a follow. Also,
Genuinely have a following there. It's actually kind of crazy for a very mediocre team.
you would think that mediocre team would shout out our podcast. Unbelievable.
Hey,
That might happen after this. That might happen here.
can we sponsor the Jazz and Jazz sponsor us back? Like,
Yes.
So down.
can we do that?
We can't
can.
do each other out.
We can.
You guys
we can
have
just.
you guys have a logo already, right? It's the beer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Next episode. Sponsored
We can-
by the Austin
we'll-
Jazz LC.
Yes, we'll put a little watermark. We'll put a little Austin Jazz watermark in every post.
That's great. I like it.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Tony, for joining us. This has been Last Call Kind of, signing off.
Peace.